Bear in mind, a Democrat has not won a statewide race in Texas for 3 decades, but they are really trying to beat Ted Cruz in 2024. Representatives Colin Allred and State Senator Roland Gutierrez are currently running. And it is going to be difficult, but he is reprehensible. He's a possum-faced loser, and I think a lot of people are getting that. And remember that the last time, back in 2018, how was this 5 years ago? This feels like it was yesterday. He beat Beto O'Rourke by like nothing, so close. I mean, it's a couple 100,000 votes. You are gonna have to make that up, but I think it's possible. It's not gonna do itself. It is gonna require organizing, it's gonna require engagement, but just think about how delightful it would be to like wake up the next day and hear that Ted Cruz is not long for the Senate. That would be so great.
What did I just tell you? I'm trying to emotionally manage, so I really want to be hopeful, but like those election results from the race with Ted and Beto, I swear will just like haunt me in my dreams forever. It became so close. And I still will say we were successful in getting that close in the first place, just because this place is so red, historically, at least over the past 30 years or so. And every election cycle, it feels like it becomes more and more entrenched and more difficult to flip it back to blue. Because every time you turn around, the state which is run by Republicans, are always trying to implement various methods of voter restriction, right? We're seeing it all the time. It's happening everywhere across the state. So we made a lot of progress with Beto. I still think that people should celebrate what Beto did. I know he gets made fun of a lot, and maybe some of it is earned, but I think he did do a lot of work. And hopefully that's a good primer for whoever it turns out to be I think it'll probably be Colin Allred. He's been spamming me all over the place. He has quite a significant campaign that he's running.
Okay, well, we're gonna see. I hope that it's, I hope if it's gonna be him, I hope it's well funded. I hope people get engaged. I don't want to get too excited. I know that it's really difficult, but like I think about how close it was in 2018, and I think of all of what has happened since then in Texas, like, the stripping away of bodily autonomy, all the experience of the pandemic, the needless deaths that happened there, the weird culture war and the banning the books and the anti-trans stuff, and Ted Cruz, what the hell has he done over the last 5 years? So I'm hoping that when you pile up all of that stuff, it's enough to give us the 2 extra percentage points or so that we need.
Yeah, I think the messaging there is gonna have to be really important for the Democrats, just to remind people of how bad it's gotten. Because I think over time, people can kind of remember one thing here, one thing there, but it really doesn't feel as impactful as it did at the time that these things were being announced. So I think they're gonna have to keep reminding people how bad it is. And they always say that Texas is a non-voting state. We have low voter turnout, so hopefully we can work on that as well.
Yeah, and I want everyone to remember too, 2018 was just 2 years after Ted Cruz was the runner-up for the Republican nomination in 2016. He was the guy that stuck around. So he was like the second guy in 2016. Who the hell is he now? Like, how does Ted Cruz matter now, honestly?
He's been pretty quiet lately, actually. Yeah. Especially for a guy who's coming up for reelection.
And let's also bear in mind, in 2018, he didn't have Donald Trump potentially inspiring a lot of Democratic turnout. If Donald Trump is the candidate and he's as bad as we know he'll be, there's gonna be a lot of people turning out in Texas to vote against Trump. Just an idea. Anyway, I'm not ready to place bets or anything, but I'm excited, I'll say that.
We can visualize and manifest it collectively. We'll do that, we'll work on that.
Let's split the labor. I'll visualize, you manifest.
Okay.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.